Imagine living in a house that's 40 years old and maintained by its owner. It's no big deal, right? Now imagine driving a car that's 40 years old and maintained by an adolescent guy in his 20s. You see where I'm going with this, right? We all have different ways of maintaining and upkeeping our property and vehicles in different ways. And sometimes what we put into them is what we get out of them. We're currently in west central Wyoming in the Wind River Range. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Sebastian and I live in this here van. You guys might already know Finn Whitaker. He lives in this van.
That's good.
And right now we're trying to set up a little backpacking trip.
Potentially to summit the mountain there.
That mountain.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're both feeling
I'm really feeling under the weather, but
yeah, we're feeling a little sick. I've been feeling it all day, and
we're gonna pray about it tonight though, and hopefully it'll go away in the morning. We can get up that freaking peak.
Let's do it. In preparation for tomorrow's hike, I whipped myself up a large plate of tacos, and no, I did not forget the Cholula this time. Picked this up at the store the other day, and we are going to have a good dinner. This is definitely one of the cooler campsites we've had. Let's make some French toast. So we've decided not to go on our little backpacking trip, unfortunately. We're just gonna head down to the lake and hang out for a little bit.
I am sick and I had work to do.
Finn's over there trying to blow up his new toy. I figured I would just make myself comfortable because this might take a while. Not bad. That water was way too cold, and here's Finn struggling. You good?
Yes.
All right, Finn has left. He is headed south, and I'm headed north. I'm currently just airing up my tires after that long dirt road. I aired down a little bit just to make the road a little less bumpy. Now I'm headed north up to Glacier National Park while I'm waiting for work. It's about 6:30 a.m. now. I am not even close. Got about 6 hours to drive today. I drove until late last night. There is a slight burning smell coming from the back of the van. I haven't quite figured out exactly where the smell is coming from, which is definitely concerning. It doesn't smell bad like the van is gonna burn down, but just like a gradual burning wire, maybe? I know this doesn't sound good, but definitely something not right. I unplugged the battery when I slept and kept my auxiliary battery plugged up. I've checked everything like 20 times, so I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna drive and monitor. Yo, I made it to Glacier National Park, one of the most beautiful places in the 48 states, if you're asking me. Once I rolled in here, I figured out my problem, what was burning last night on my drive here, and I discovered that well, first off, the idiot that built this motor didn't do the best job. Hey man, that's not very nice to say. I put a lot of work into that thing. So I found that my charge pipe had rubbed a hole in itself and in my timing belt cover here, and kind of melted its way back together too. 90% sure that's what I smelled burning on my drive, because the smell would come and then it would go, and then I'd pull over and search every wire, and I wasn't able to find anything every single time. And it was extremely annoying and aggravating, and scared for my life and the life of the van that we're just gonna burn down into a ball of fire. So when I built this engine, I kind of built it just for, you know, the intention of driving on one trip and then driving it back to my shop at the time and completely going through all the little bits and pieces. I did the trip and I just kept driving and driving and driving. I never had the time or patience to stop and tear everything back apart and fix all those little fine details, because it just worked. And I will say, a burning smell coming from the engine bay, not a good thing. If you smell burning coming from the engine bay of your van, your Volkswagen Vanagon, the chances of it burning down are very, very high. But in my case, I don't know, it didn't smell like a familiar smell, but it didn't smell like something was gonna explode or spontaneously combust into flames. I checked every wire and it just didn't seem like a wire, especially none of the 4-gauge wires, none of the bigger wires that could cause a huge issue in the fact that it could burn down. I figured if it was a wire, then it'd be just a small little wire that's kind of getting a little too hot, and maybe it'll just burn its way through and I'd be fine. There is no insulation in my engine bay, which is great, and there is nothing flammable in here other than very compressed diesel, which there is none, or hydraulic fluid, which I don't know what temperature that needs to be to combust into flames and huge fire to follow. And I suppose, yeah, the rubber can catch on fire. Everything else to follow after that, including all of my belongings inside the van and all this and that and all the expensive stuff. But that didn't happen, and it just didn't smell. I didn't get a negative vibe from it, so I kept driving. No big deal. Checked periodically, and I just couldn't find anything that was wrong. So now I'm looking at it, and I think I found the problem. And the timing belt cover being a huge factor in my findings, that I'm gonna fix that up, or rather than fix it, throw a huge stinking band-aid on it and hit the road. Speaking of hitting the road, we've got the one, the only, we got Nico Murillo in the house.
What's good, YouTube?
He has been bumming around Glacier. Glacier is amazing. How you liking Glacier so far, Nico?
So far, this place is so vast. The glaciers and all that is so cool. If you guys have never been here, I highly suggest you come here.
He's living in his Tesla, and he's been enjoying this vast landscape that we have here for the past couple of days. And once I rolled into town, I'm like, we gotta go do something cool. So tomorrow we're going for a hike, and that'll be in the next video. I'm gonna cut this here, and I'll see you guys next week. If you liked the video, hit the like button. It really helps me out. And subscribe while you're at it. It's free. I'll see you guys next week.